Hello, friends. Nothing like technical difficulties 5 minutes before you're supposed to start. Bear with me. So I was getting on to log in and tried to share my screen and it wouldn't share. So thanks for bearing with me. I know I'm just a few seconds late. Today's video, what we are doing, we being me, is I'm doing store reviews. The link down below, it's a Google form, first come. I'm going to get through as many as I can within the hour going over store reviews. If you are a gold member, you have access to this form before anybody else. So if you really do want a store review, becoming a gold member, a YouTube gold member, well, that's one of the things that one of the perks that you have. If you really want a member, or if you really want a eBay review, and I'm going to look at the golden formula for resellers as well. If you really want that, and I don't get to you today, you are welcome to, I do 4 a month, paid ones a month. And then there is a code down below or on this video for 50% off if I don't get to you today. Before I get to reviews, I did have a form and the people did ask questions. I don't know that I'm going to get to everyone's. I'm going to tell you I'm not going to have time to get to everybody's, but I do want to answer as many questions as I had. So I'm going to answer a couple questions now and then maybe a couple in between. I'm going to say, as I'm doing these store reviews, it's hard for me to manage the comments. So if you do have a question, please put in capital letters question. Another way to catch my attention is to do like a super chat. So as I scroll through these comments, I can see them quickly. If you have questions as I'm going through this, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments, but make sure to answer or put questions in it or do like a super chat so that I see it. This is going to be a lot that we're going over, so let's get into it. I'm going to do a couple questions while we wait for some people to come on. Here is Carrie. Hello, Carrie. She is a new member. Vintage Less Traveled. I believe she might be a member as well. She is a member, yes. It says there. Bobby loves to thrift. Hey, Bobby. Mr. Styles, if you cannot guess, is my husband. And then Del with Thrifts is here as well. So let's get into it. A couple of the questions that we had, all the videos I mentioned during these questions are going to be linked down below. I currently do not do promoted listings. With what you've been discussing lately about what you learned at eBay headquarters, how many of my 1,000 listings would you recommend? So I think it's going to deeply depend on what you sell and what's happening in your store. I did link my promoted listings video down below and it kind of looks at the back end. However, that video is about a year old and I actually have a promoted listing videos coming out, I think this week, because y'all, it's doing wonders for me. I discussed it a lot at eBay headquarters, but to answer your question, it's complicated. It's going to depend on your data and what you're doing. You did go on to say that, you don't do this full time and you don't know that you really have the time to strategize. Should you just do all of them? And I'm going to say, I don't think that's going to hurt. Maybe try all of them for a month and then back off if you need to, if it's taking too much out of your net, or if you're noticing it's not really working for anything, but definitely focus on that data and the charts. The next question, one burning question I have is whether or not I should become a top rated seller plus. There's more into this, but I'm going to say yes. Yes, 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 and yes. I also have another video coming out soon. I think it's coming out on Saturday, maybe. But eBay has top rated seller plus for a reason. There are things that they want you to do and that they know that they want that the buyers are going to want as well. It's not only going to give you more exposure, but it is going to give you more sales from buyer behavior, right? There is going to put a little top rated seller plus, and all of the things that you're offering are going to encourage those buyers. If you are the only, like, let's say you sell collectibles and you're the only one on there, you're the only item. Okay, you probably don't need to do all of these things. But for me, I have a lot of competition out there. I have to do all the things plus some to stand out. And top rated seller plus is going to be one of those ways, not just a little, badge that you get for doing it, but all of the things that you do. They go on to say, I'm already top rated, and ever since I started offering 1-day handling time, I see a sales increase. Great to know. People want that, right? They have Amazon that we're competing with, and everyone knows that we can't compete with Amazon, right? We're small sellers, but the closer you can get, the better service you can get. So definitely, if you can maintain 1-day handling, absolutely do it. They're saying, I'm hesitant to offer free returns because I learned that another YouTuber, I'm not going to disclaim their name, has a return rate of close to 10%. And even though my items are more bread and butter relative to their shop with only $2,000 net a month, I'm not prepared for the burden of free shipping. And I will agree with this. If you don't have the time to do free shipping or to do free returns, because it does take a little extra time, eBay has it to where you can I do have the free returns videos linked down below so you can figure out how to tell if it's right for you. I don't think that it's right for everybody. I do think that it's right for most, to be honest. Look at your data. eBay has a really cool thing where you can go in and say, hey, this is what I make. And I haven't linked in my video down below, but this is what I make. And this is kind of what I need to do to, I add 5 cents on every listing, and it's going to combat any of the returns that I get. From a processing standpoint, if you don't have time to do that, eBay does make it where they do like 75, 80% of it. But you can see here, friends, that's my elliptical. This is all of my returns from the past, I don't know, before the summer probably, that still need to be put away, right? So if you don't have the time for this stuff, obviously it's not a priority to me. That is something that you need to be cognizant of. I will say I sell women's clothing, shoes, purses, fashion, and I'm at about 5%. So I do think if you are, and I'm not going to disclose who the YouTuber is, I don't know their business model, but if you are providing measurements, you are providing all of the flaws, if you are providing so they really know what they're getting, I do think that those percentage could be lower. I'm like right about average when you look at it for clothing. I think it's between 5 and 6%. So this 10% is kind of high. And depending on what you sell, I think men's fashion is probably even less. All right, let's do one more question and then we will get into an eBay store review. Thank you guys for those. Everyone who is watching. I was just cussing eBay because I am having a hard time with photos and my notifications for the live. So I'm taking a break. That's a great strategy. I remember doing that in college when I, was trying to figure out a math problem or something. I was like, I can't do this. I'd take a break and then you come back and it would all magically work. And technology too, right? Turn it off and turn it back on. So everyone, thank you guys so much for joining. Just a quick thing. I do have it linked down below, but we are doing eBay store reviews today. They are completely free. It is first come, first serve. If you are a YouTube Gold member, you have access to the Google form a couple days before everybody else. So that is one of the many perks of being a member of my YouTube channel. If you really do want a store review and I don't get to you today, I do offer a couple of them every single month paid, but there is a percentage coupon code in the link description down below. So one more question and then we will get to a couple store reviews. I do have quite a few questions from the forums that I'm going to try and answer, even if I don't get to their store today. Please help. I've been stuck in the same place for about 2 years and just cannot seem to grow. Another one is I get 1 to 7 sales per day. I would love to get around to 10 sales per day. This is a numbers game, friend. And this is actually perfect segue into what we're going to do. So the store reviews, I'm actually starting with the golden formula for resellers because I asked everybody what their monetary goal is. And I think one of the biggest thing is figuring out what you need your numbers to be and how to get there and if they're even realistic. So this is what I'm going to say. Is this a numbers game, friends? If you want to get to 7 sales a day, look at your numbers, look at your sell through, look at your average sale price. I'm going to show you guys right now. We're going to look at it. That's not what we're looking at. That's my store. One quick note too, as well. I did mention this earlier, but if you guys do have a question during this, it's hard for me to look at the screen and at the comments. So definitely put it in capital X question. If you do like a super chat or something, it gives a big highlight to where that's going to catch my eye as well, even if it's, just 99 cents or something. So the golden formula for resellers, if you're new to the channel, this is what I base everything off of. It is essentially just saying how much money you make. When you break it down into math, you can quickly and easily move it around. If you can't quickly and easy move it around, this is a spreadsheet. It is a download below. If you are a YouTube member, you do get this as a free download below, but it's like a couple bucks on my website. If you get a store review, I do this for you in the paid store review, and then you get this spreadsheet that comes with it as well. I'm not going to go through what it means. I have lots of videos on that. But basically it's telling you how much you make. You have your sell-through rate, how many items you sell out of how many that you have for sale. I do want to note here that this is not how many you've listed and how many you've sold out of how many you've listed. It's how many you have sold out of how many that you have for sale. So if you've listed 100 items that month, but you have 2,000 items for sale, that is going to be your denominator, right? That's going to be the bottom number for your sell-through rate, how many active listings you have and what your average sale price is. If you have this formula, you can manipulate and move it. I'm not going to make you do it. That's what the spreadsheet's for, to help you figure out your numbers. So the first one that we're looking at, this is the first store. I'm going to get into the store and what they need to be doing, but this is Mom Nurse Gigi is the name of their store. They told me their sell-through rate is 2.5%. Their average sale price, so on average, they are selling $16 items. So the sell-through rate means of the items that they have available, and I actually have that number down here. They currently have 227 items available. They are selling on a monthly basis 2.5% of those, and they want to make about $2,000 a month. Based off of this, they need 5,000 active listings available. And this is where I say that it's a numbers game. Do they want 5,000 active listings available? I don't know. Is that part of their plan? Not sure, but this is what they need. If they want to hit that number and they're basing off of what they have now, one of their options is to increase their active listings. They could also work really hard on increasing their sell-through rate, selling more items. Look, now they only need 1,200 items if they increase it to 10%. Or they could go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to work on really increasing my average sale price. This is something that we're working on right now in the YouTube Gold membership, is picking one of these numbers, because so much time on social media, everyone's like, oh, list more, list more, list more. Yes, but you can also increase your sell-through rate and you can increase your average sale price. And those are both going to increase your gross revenue without sourcing more, without listing more, without taking more photos, without, right? You can increase your average sale price. They can say, hey, I'm going to start looking for items that are $35. And now my active listings are down to $2,000 or 2,000 active listings, right? So it is a numbers game. If you guys get the store review, it also goes into, from this number, how many active listings you need, what your daily listing goal needs to go into. I go all the way down to that number for you. But let's get to the eBay store reviews. So this is their eBay store. Quick things. I'm just going to quickly say what I'm looking at. Their pictures look really nice. I like the white background. Things that I am noticing, they definitely have a banner up here. It doesn't really tell me a whole lot. It's Gigi's retirement. So I'm thinking, hey, I'm funding her retirement. Doesn't that look delightful to be up there? I talk a lot in my eBay Open 2022 that I did, return customers and buyers buying because they want to support you. So the more that you can do to show your brand, eBay has given us so many tools and analytics right now, or so many tools, I always say analytics, so many tools, newsletters, stores. And so some of those, so she's using the banner for sure. She has the shop. If you look at her about, there's nothing about her. So what is she, who is Gigi's retirement? You can put something here. People are more apt, especially the younger generations, to buy from people that they are connected with and people that they want to support. Even if you just say, hey, this allows me to retire around with my husband after spending, 25 years raising 72 children, or whatever your story is, it's one step closer that they can see to you. The other thing you can do with your store, and I'll show you in my store real quick, if you come up here, you go to your store and you scroll down, it's going to tell you 7 tasks that they have available to make your store differentiated from everybody else, to give you a brand on eBay. You can see I have done everything but a store video. It's on my agenda, but I'm not really creatively, I haven't figured out what I want to do there. But the marketing banner, which she doesn't have, a featured listing, featured categories, description, billboard, store logo, and store name. So she's definitely covered some of those. The billboard, it's not a logo, but it's who she is. She has a name. I'm loving the 100% feedback. That's definitely a great thing to have. She does have 254 items available, right? So it's a numbers game. If she was keeping her sourcing strategy all the same, then she would need to increase that to make more money. Increasing the about. Things that she can do is add to that storefront. You can go to my store, and if you scroll down, let me go to my store. So this is my store. If you scroll down, you're going to see featured categories. These are clicks that people are going to be easier. You want them to not have to spend so much time searching. If they come to your store, and with only 200 items, it's not as bad, but I have 2,300 items. If I want women's clothing, boom, I can come here and click it. Featured items, put the items that are trending right now, the items that are seasonal right now, to help them one step closer. People don't like to be doing a lot of clicks. They're going to get bored and go somewhere else. You can also do a banner that says, hey, I'm giving an extra 25% off. And then all of my items that come down below, an about, I'm a mom of 3 kids. It talks about my store policies, my top rated seller, things that set me apart from being just an eBay seller, right? This is what's going to get, especially because you're doing women's fashion, it looks like, at least your top things. This is what is going to get people to buy your not your daughter jeans, tummy tuck high rise, as opposed to someone else. So now let's look at this item. And what I want to do here, because I sell in this category, so I know her competition is going to be something fierce. Let's go to, no, let's go to eBay. I'm not going to look for it, but I know that there's probably a gazillion other of these. And so she needs to set herself apart. We're going to look at search in a minute. Top rated seller plus. That's awesome. That is definitely going to help with exposure. eBay has told you if you are top rated seller plus, we will give you more exposure. So that's awesome. Definitely one thing that they're doing. It doesn't look like there's best offer. Shipping, honestly, friends, $15 for a pair of jeans. That's high. You can fit these in a flat rate padded mailer for like $8.30, I think, right now on eBay. Charge a little bit more because eBay takes fees off of your shipping, but that's high. And if you go ahead, I'm going to bring it up. Let's look at, this is what you want to do. You need to look at your competition. Let's look at, so I'm just going to search this and see what the other people are doing in her thing. It came up first. Likely this came up first because I just clicked on it and the algorithm's really smart. But let's say it didn't come up first. This is $13 shipping. This is $6.99 shipping, $5.50 shipping, $10.30 shipping. You need to figure out a way to be better than everybody else. Pictures are great. The white background is definitely going to be great. Going to bring up some great it's going to come up in eBay search and in Google search as well, which is awesome. As far as the listing goes, free returns, free 30-day returns, seller pays for return shipping. So that's going to make it a top rated seller plus item, right? Which means she's going to be getting a discount on her fees if it sells. So here's the thing people ask about promoted listings. If you are promoting your listings, when someone is looking at her store, looking at this tummy tuck high rise, and they scroll down to learn a little bit more, hey, do I want to buy this? They're seeing other items exactly the same. Those are promoted listing items. Your items, if I had the same item and I was promoting it, would be showing up here. So it's not just about showing up in the search. It's about showing up here. It's about related items. It's also showing up here. It's people are seeing that before they even get down to her item specifics. She has a good amount of item specifics filled out. So my guess is her little blue bubble is probably pretty filled out. Do remember that you do not have to get that bubble completely full. It is not 100% thing. Only fill out things that are important and valuable that is going to help. The purpose of this is that when people are doing their search, so let's go back to the eBay search. Someone's coming over here and someone clicks boot cut. That is bringing up the back end of your item specific. So if you have boot cut in your item specific filled out, it's now coming up in this search. That is the purpose of the item specifics. So putting something that's not relevant to your item is not going to be helpful, but putting something that is relevant to your item is absolutely helpful. Down here, this is good. The emojis aren't necessary, and actually from an SEO perspective, it's not great. They see it as like a stopper, right? So in a deal, but if you guys are using emojis like in titles, the way that the SEO works is left to right. It's going to go through and read it, and if you have an emoji, it stops. It looks at it like spam and stuff as well. As far as the title goes, I did in my eBay algorithm video, I did talk a little bit about, was it that video? It was another one. The eBay podcast said listing things to not do for listing. So you don't want to use abbreviations. You don't want to use punctuation. I don't see that. It does start with not your daughter's jeans, which is abbreviation. Honestly, people know it as that. So I'm not sure if that would do it or not. So a couple of things I think that they could definitely be doing to increase customer customers coming back, doing all those store features. I'm not sure if they do store newsletters or coupons or promotions or any of that. Getting repeat customers back, if you can increase your repeat customer base by 5%, you can see up to a 75% increase in your profit margins. 5%. That's it. And it looks like their store is pretty niche down to where it's mostly women's fashion. So if you can get these people to come back, I'm going to say their pictures are on point. The white background, they probably, I don't know if they use, well, we can look, if they use Photoshop maybe to get a white background, but that is a very clean look. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. The first cover photo, I personally would prefer to see the whole jean. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I don't have any data on this. This is just personal. So let me know. The other thing is all of the promotions, and I don't see a coupon on their store at all. So you can do a public coupon. That is definitely going to increase sales, or you can at least try it out and see what it does. I do have an eBay coupon tutorial. All of the features that I'm mentioning, if you guys are new to the channel, eBay tutorial playlist, a lot of them are linked in the descriptions, ones I thought I might talk about, but if they're not, they're definitely in my eBay tutorial playlist. So coupons you can do. I can't tell if you're doing newsletters, but that could be a really nice way to get back. You only have 7 followers. So working on ways to get your followers, to increase your followers, doing the newsletters to get people to come back. I do a QR code that they scan and it automatically takes them back to my eBay store so they can increase my followers. Since I started doing that, I've doubled my followers in doing that. And the more followers you have, the more people you can send to a newsletter, the easier it is to get sales from it. So I don't see any coupons. I don't see any sales. I don't see any promotions. Those are all things that I would definitely highly recommend working on, adding to it. As far as your listing goes, I think it's pretty good to get to the point where you want to be. It's a numbers game, friend. So you can work on increasing. If I were you at this point to where you want to go, I would, yes, work on increasing my listings a little bit, but I would also work on maybe increasing all of the numbers. If you increase, and let's go back to it. If you increase each number just slightly, so let's say you can get this up to 5%, which is about average for women's clothing. So focus really on looking at Terapeak and figuring out what is selling right now. I do have an eBay tutorial, eBay Terapeak tutorial, but they have listing they have listing suggestions and recommendations based off of the categories that you sell in. Spend some time really figuring out what's selling right now so you can increase that sell-through rate. Your sell-through rate, I would almost venture to say, and I'm almost positive you are a member, but even if you're not, let me know. If this works, I would almost venture to say if you start using coupons, newsletters, promoting your listings, and sales, your sell-through rate with what you have is going to increase. Work on increasing your sell-through or your average sale price, going from 16, let's say, to 21. It's because you still have all the older inventory. Increase that to 21, and then you need less items to get to that gross revenue that you want to hit, right? So that's the first one. Let me check in. We do have a couple other questions in the form that was filled out. Again, if you guys are just following, I am doing eBay store reviews. I'm also showing you the Google golden formula for resellers. Excuse me, friends. It's a lot of talking when you're on here by yourself. Do you like my look? Did you guys attend eBay Open? It's my eBay Open swag. I got it yesterday. They have the best cups too. Their coffee mug is my favorite too. What was I saying? Oh, if you're just joining, I am doing eBay store reviews. It is free. It is first come, first serve. There is a form down below if you want to try and get yours reviewed today. If you don't make the cut and you really do want a store review, there is a link right here. I'm showing it. There is a link because I do them paid as well. It's limited though because of my time, but I do really want to help. It's going to be similar to this, probably a bit more in-depth talking because it is a paid one, and I will send you the recording and you'll get the golden formula for resellers sheet to download and all of that. But if you do want to, there is a form that you can fill out down below. I don't know if I'm going to get to everyone today, but a lot of people ask questions in there. So even if I don't get to their store review, I do want to touch base on answering some questions, checking in with the chat. And then another reminder too, if you guys are asking a question, either type question really big in capital letters or send like a super chatter with it, because as I'm doing the store review, I'm not keeping it. I'm not looking at the comments. Hello. Do, do, do. Came to throw some support. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, friends. Yes, if you are here, make sure to hit that like button. I have a question on the 25% off, how that's worked by me doing do you have to have a business eBay store to have the perk? Okay, let me read that again. I have a question on the 25% off, how that's worked by me using, I don't know if they're talking, if you want to clarify, I don't know if you're talking about like a coupon or running a sale. I do have a video in the description. It was released maybe a couple days ago about why you should get an eBay store, and not just because you're listing so many items. It talks about the perks and all the things that come with it. Where does it show your top rated seller? Sorry, friends. Yes, let me show this. Let me bring it up and I will show you. Great question. I do go through this quickly. So if you click on the item, let's say I'm a buyer and I'm like, hey, I really like this. If you come up here, it says shop with confidence, and it says that they're a top rated seller plus. Well, this is the top rated seller is what you are. Making it plus means that this item has free returns on it, to clarify. Money back guarantee. This is eBay says that it's money back guaranteed. These are things that buyers are looking at to know. And then as well as like your feedback, how does this compare to somebody else? Let's go back here. Oh, hello, Fireball Flippers. I wonder what you sell. That sounds fun. It reminds me of like sports, I guess, right? Where do you send information for you to review? So if you want me to review it today for free, there is a form, a Google form in the description down below you need to fill out. If I don't get to you and you still want an eBay store review, there's also a link down below, a paid one, where I will do a review of your store, golden formula for resellers, and then send you the video as well as the Google Sheet for free. Oh, it is recorded. Fireballs, it is going to be recorded. Friends, do make sure to do a question if you guys do have a question. I prefer seeing the whole item in the first shot, right? So I would maybe agree with that. Maybe use a white hanger as well. Yes, definitely love that. Got my swag today. I love it. All right, let me answer a couple more questions and then we'll get into the second one. I need advice on, I know you are not a CPA. I am not, so I will not give CPA advice. But how do you keep track of your expenses and inventory? I will say absolutely get a CPA. It is 100% worth it because you can ask them questions and then you don't have to worry about if you did your taxes right. But how do I keep track of my expenses and inventory? It gets kind of complex. I do have, and I linked it down below, my process video where I go step by step. But essentially what I do is I come in and I go, let's say I go shopping, I put everything into, like, my shoes go here and everything hanging up goes here. Purses, let me see, I'm backwards. Purses are here. And then I go through and get the cost of goods and I create a custom SKU for that purchase. Right. So sometimes, like if I'm at the bins, it's everything is just the same price. You know, how much I paid divided by how many items that I got. If it's something where like purses cost $25 on average because I'm at a store and my jeans are like $3 on average, then I will break it down by item. But I create a custom SKU for each one of those with my cost of goods. That custom SKU goes into this ridiculously it's not obnoxious, it's very helpful, but this ridiculous spreadsheet. Custom SKU goes in there with the cost of goods, and some information about it. So then when I take photos, I take a photo of that and that goes into, because I send it to VAs, that goes to my VAs so they know what custom SKU to put in the custom label. I think that's what it's called on eBay, or the custom SKU, whatever it is for the SKU on eBay and Poshmark that only you can see. That goes into that. So that when it sells, I pull a report. I report from Poshmark. I pull a report. And when I say I mean my husband does. Love ya. He pulls a report from Poshmark. He pulls a report from eBay. That SKU is now attached to the item that sold. You pull a report. You do a bunch of, magic in Excel, VLOOKUPs and stuff, and it will attach my cost of goods to the item that sold. Essentially what I do, it's a lot of spreadsheets. It's a lot of data tracking. I know that eBay used to work with GoDaddy and they would do it for you. I don't know that they have replaced, and let me know if you guys know if anything has replaced GoDaddy. I know some people use like Quicken or QuickBooks. It wasn't, I looked into it a couple of years ago, and because I was on multiple platforms, it just didn't do what I needed it to do. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, I do have a process video down below. The next question, and then we'll get into another store review. So it says, I'm working to fix my store. I recently purged out a lot of lower value inventory. I'm fixing pictures box by box. I'm trying to edit titles, blah, 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 which is great. Like, go back and make what you have better. As we learn new things, and always making things better, because you already have it. You might as well sell it. What other tweaks might you find looking at my store, and how much inventory should I keep on hand to move to the next level? Two-part question. First one is, I have a video. It is pinned. I think I linked it down below as well. It is pinned on my YouTube page right now of how to reset your eBay store. And it's like a list of, I think it's like 6 or 7 things. So I took the summer off. I was doing bare minimum, and I wanted to like kickstart my eBay store. These are things that I did to kickstart it. I will say it didn't work to the extent that it's worked in the past. And so if you watch any of my videos from August to now, and even coming out this week, I'm finally, I don't want to spoil it because I have a video coming out, but you guys are watching me here. I am finally getting to reseller nirvana. Whew. It used to take me like a month and a half, and now it's taking me 2 months. So any of the things that I have been doing and sharing with you guys on social media, on YouTube, are things that are working. If you want a real quick video down and dirty to really get started, those are like quick little things that you can do, but it's going to depend on your store. Try promoted listings, try coupons, try newsletters, try all of these tools that eBay gives us. Try them, look at the data, and see if it's working for your store. What works for a collectible store is not what's going to work for my women's fashion store. So it's really hard to tell you one trick that's going to work. All of my videos are going to tell you, hey, here's promoted listings. Here's how you set it up. But then also here's how you look to see if it actually worked, because what works for you is not going to work for me. And then the second part question is, how much inventory should I have on hand to take it to the next level? Friends, it's a numbers game. If you don't have the golden formula for resellers template, I would highly recommend getting it. The other thing I'm going to say too is, if you don't even want to do that, oh, I don't have it up. I got rid of it when I had to turn my computer completely off. Technical difficulties when I first started, but I had to turn my computer off, so I don't have it up. But if you have the dashboard as well, it actually goes through and tells you. It looks at your numbers and say, this is how many you need to sell to hit the number that you want. You can set a goal, and it'll look at all your data for you, and you don't even have to do the golden formula. So you really have to look at your numbers, what your sell-through rate is, what your average sale price is, how many active listings that you want, and I will show you the golden formula so that we can look at it. And I don't know what your next level is, right? Like, you may need $500 to pay your car payment, and that's your next level, right? This is the math behind it. This will lead you there every single time. It's like the basis of everything I do. Question, yes, love it. Question, what is a good % of customer feedback, and does it help to have higher % feedback? I don't know. This is interesting. I'm interested to hear what people in the chat have to say. I think 100% customer feedback is great, right? Like, people look at that for sure. I know I look at it. If it is lower and someone leaves you a negative feedback, definitely, sorry, let me get rid of this so you guys can see me. Definitely respond to it. This is another thing, if you are a top rated seller, eBay gives you significantly more support. So I've had one negative feedback. I have a video on it. I have one negative feedback, and I reached out to the buyer like 17 times, and I gave them a free return, even though they never responded. I was like, I'm going to give you the $12. Like, it's not worth a negative feedback. Never responded. I called eBay, and they're like, obviously you worked on it. We will take that off, right? So that is one reason to be a top rated seller, because they give you a lot more support for doing it. What is a good %? Definitely 100%. Does it help to have a higher % of feedback? I mean, I think yes. If you have, not a good % of feedback, if 50% of your feedback is negative, I think that's definitely going to hurt you as a buyer, especially if you're in a highly saturated platform. Okay, let's move to the next person. I'm going to do the golden formula for the next person so you guys can see the fun of numbers. Oh, it's not letting me get there. Hold on. Sorry, the share screen window is exactly where the button I need to press is, so bear with me. Okay, so this is the next person. We will get to their store as well, but I just want to look at it realistically, what they're wanting to do and how they're going to get there. This is Simple Southern Solutions. I also believe this is a YouTube Gold member. Like I said, if you want free, you're free review that I do monthly. I might do it more often if you guys like it. Let me know if you guys like it. I like doing them. But if you want to, if you are a gold member, you have access to the Google form to fill out a couple days before everybody else. So you can get on there very first is one of the perks. So they said their sell-through rate is 15.8%. This means of the 999 current listings that they have, they're selling 15% of those on a monthly basis. Their average sale price, on average, those items are selling for $18.6. They want to make $4,000 a month. So in order to do this, they need 1,300 active listings. If you get the paid store review, where I will send you a video of all of this information and more, I'll also break down how you can get there, what your daily listing goal needs to be to get to these numbers. But you can see here too, it's a numbers game. Friends, their sell-through rate is so much higher, so they don't need as many active listings. They also have more active listings, which helps, but they don't need as many active listings as the previous person because their sell-through rate is so much higher. If we suddenly decrease this to a 2% sell-through rate, they now need $10,000. To 10,000 items to get there, right? And this is where when people ask me how many items do I need to make the money that I want to make, it's complicated. It depends on what you sell. It's going to be different for every single person because it's going to depend on what you sell. So like I said, this is, if you're a YouTube member, you get this for free. If you want to just go on my website and buy it, you have this. If you have the dashboard, it does all of this on the back end for you and just spews out charts. I don't have it open though. All right, let's go to their store and take a look. Sorry, my screens are kind of getting messed up. Okay, so we did Gigi's retirement. Now we're going to the next. Oh no, that's one of theirs. That's also one of theirs. Here we go. All right, so they do have a banner. I'm liking this. People are getting it. They do have the banner. They do have like a store logo. They have 99.2% feedback. So I'm going to take a look at this and see. Let's look at their feedback. As a buyer, a lot of this is buyer behavior. If I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, they don't have 100% feedback, what's happening? Buyers are going to click on this. They're going to click to the negative, and they're going to say what's happening with the negative. This blah, 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 blah. It's on an underwire. It was advertised incorrectly. What's interesting is the buyer is probably a new buyer. Yeah, they only have 20 feedback. So they are probably a new buyer and they didn't know that they could just return this. Even if the buyer doesn't offer returns, if it was advertised incorrectly, they could return it. However, this buyer did say, I did offer this buyer a return, but she chose to keep the item, right? So if you do have, what's one negative feedback, and this was 12 months ago, that one negative feedback, they did respond to it. If I was a buyer, I'd say, okay, they did offer to return it. That's not going to deter me from it. However, that 100% does look nice. 23 followers here. Let's see what they sell. They do have featured categories, right? So we were talking about with the other buyer, the other seller, we were talking about, these store features, featured categories. If I am clicked on this person's store and I say, oh, featured categories, I'm really only, especially for a store like this, where they have clothes, they have hats, they have plushies, they have vintage. I don't want to scroll through up here. I'm looking at 1,000 items. I don't want to scroll through 1,000 items to find that one plushie that I want, or to look at the 15 plushies that they have. I'm going to click on plushies. This is going to keep people on your page. The more clicks you can get on your page, the higher chance you're going to have of conversion. Newly listed. This is also great. This is one of the store features that you can do. They have the banner. I am loving this TN Treasure. Great job using all of these features. And then you can scroll through all of the items. Let's come up here and look at the about. So if I were, the only thing I would say, everything else has been really great. Our store sells clothes, shoes, vintage items, and home decor. There are millions of sellers on eBay. Millions. How are you different? I'm assuming this is Tennessee, that you're from Tennessee. Your logo leads me to believe that you're from Tennessee, and maybe you're like that. What was that show where people were like the pickers, right? Like you travel around and you look for things. That would be so cool to know about in your About Us. Like, what do you look for? What is your favorite find? What connects me to you that makes me want to buy from you, as opposed to this other seller who has the same plushie, right? It's going to matter. We looked at the feedback. The other thing too is the categories. They have different categories. This is really helpful, especially for sellers like this have lots of different categories, to break it into categories. The one thing I am going to say though, is when you do the categories, On your store page, it's fine. When you are picking your category for an eBay, when you're doing a category for a listing, pick an eBay category. And here's why. If you go in, let's go to eBay again. If you go into eBay, it's all about search, right? It's just like an item. Oh, let's look up something. Plushie. I don't know plushies. I don't know why I'm looking up plushies. Okay, so let's say we're looking up a plushie, whatever. And you go in and you want certain categories of plushies. I don't even know if you have categories in plushies. That wasn't a good thing to do. Let's do like a jeans, women's clothing. Okay, I'm not going to show you an example because I don't know plushies. But so if you go in your store and you want to do like Christmas and you want to do like all of these different cool categories, whatever, but think about it when you are making the listing and you can fill out what category it is. I highly recommend always sticking with the eBay category, because when people are filtering down on that left-hand search filter in their eBay store, or in their eBay search, they are going to be looking, they're going to be checking eBay categories, right? The eBay is not going to import all of your crazy categories into it. From your storefront, absolutely do it up. When you're making a listing and you're saying, hey, eBay, this is in this category, make that as most relevant as possible. All right, so let's scroll down. I'm going to look at clothes just because that's what I know the most about, but it does look like, so I'm going to say first off, so some of these are great, some with a white background. If I were you, I would definitely go in and fix the ones that don't have a white background, especially like the one that's on your kitchen floor. People associate that with like food on your kitchen floor or dirty on your kitchen floor, especially on something like an Adidas black track pants. There's probably 500 of those listed on eBay right now. If they're going to buy one that they think has been on your kitchen floor, even if there's a mat there, the nice thing is especially just for the photo or for the cover photo, eBay has a background remover. And so you can go in and remove the background. You don't have to go take all new photos. Just go in and remove the background. I have an Instagram reel on it. I show it in my eBay presentation, the Instagram reel on how to use it. You can now use it on the computer, which is amazing. So if I were you, I would definitely go in. So a couple things with the white background is not only is the white background appear nicer, right? Because it's like on your kitchen floor, right? It's also better. Google and eBay both recommend it as best practice. Now, I know some people say, hey, I sell a gazillion things and I don't do it. That's awesome. But eBay and Google both recommend a white background as best practice because they're going to be able to pull that picture. You want to be able to get in as many places as you can. And if having a white background is going to get you in one more Google search, then absolutely do that. All right, let's keep looking. What I'm seeing here too, or not seeing, is I don't see any promotions. I don't see coupons. I can't tell if you're promoting your listings, but I don't see coupons. I don't see a sale. I don't see a public coupon, any of that. One thing, people like to get a deal, but then also when you're in eBay and you're searching, people can go all the way down to the bottom and search discount or this item's on sale or something like that. They can click on it and none of your items are coming up. So even if you run a 2% sale, increase everything by 2% and run a 2% sale, you are going to be getting more traffic to your store, and getting people to your store is what's going to matter. So I talk a lot about this and I'm interested in hearing. So like if I'm doing your review, come back to this and tell me like, hey, I worked on this and my traffic increased. A lot of so first you have to get traffic. First you have to get more traffic to your store. So a lot of what I'm saying is getting people to your store. The next thing you have to do is get people to click. And so getting people to click is it something they want, right? And so let's look at it. What's going to make me click? I'm going to click on it. Okay, so you're not a top rated seller and you have a 99% positive feedback. So this is telling me, hey, I'm probably just going to go buy these Calvin Klein mid-rise jeans from one of the 15 zillion other sellers on eBay because I don't really know who you are. You're not top rated seller. You're not top rated seller. It's also not a plus, right? Best offer. You do accept returns. However, I have to pay for the return. And I know, there's another person and I don't know this, but as you're going through and making these better, look up this item in eBay and look at your competition. $5.99, because I know these items, is a good shipping price. So you're probably very competitive in that price. I look at your returns and see if you're competitive there and how you can figure out how to get that better. Again, promoted listings, friends. If you're promoting your items and you have a pair of Calvin Klein jeans or pants, they're coming up here. And here's what's happening, friends. If someone's saying, hey, they're not top rated, I have to pay to return them, I'm going to scroll down. Maybe I want them, maybe I don't. And as I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing the exact same thing for $8 with 100% positive feedback. And I don't know what the shipping is, but like already this first one that I'm seeing is better. I'm going to click on that and leave your store. So you want to definitely be mindful of your competition as well. And you want to promote your items because you want to show up here, right? Like I want to be that Calvin Klein one that showed up on your listing. So they click on that and buy from me. Again, these are also promoted listings. You can see it says related sponsor items. Sorry, friends. My throat. And then you scroll down. This looks like a decent amount of item specifics. Again, I don't have the bubble to see, and I don't know the exact item. Item specifics fill out as many as is relative that are relative. We talked about this in the previous one as well, so I'm not going to go too in depth into that. And then related, again, another related sponsored items, sponsored items, also view this also, right? So if you're thinking about promoting your items, it's not just about search, it's about coming up in all of these 30 other places that eBay is going to put your item. Because if someone's looking at this, they're probably also interested in this other stuff. It's going to come up in those things. So I want to do one quick thing as well. You can pull a quality listing report, and it's going to tell you a lot of this information, how you rank compared to your competitors, how many photos they have. It compares you to how many item specifics they have, and really helps you improve. I don't think I know. I don't think that I have that link down below, but it's an eBay listing quality report. It's in my eBay tutorial playlist. Highly recommend everybody run this and see how they can improve to make themselves better. One of the things it tells you is, if you have any items that are not coming up in Google search. So you're getting traffic from eBay. You're also getting traffic from Google. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in, and it might come up because I just looked at it, and it did. So this is like, go incognito and do this and see if yours comes up. It's coming up because I just looked at it. So they're like, hey, you just looked at it over here on eBay. You're looking at it over here. Maybe you really do want it. But then go in and compare yourself. Go to shopping. This is your competition. This is $11.99 from ThredUp. Straight from Calvin Klein, ThredUp, right? But their pictures, white background on the pants. Just look at what your prices are compared to other people, what your shipping is, right? This one is more expensive on the floor, how it compares to other people. All right, let's check in with a few more questions. If you guys do have questions in the chat, do make sure to put questions first. We have about another 15 more minutes. I'll probably do one more store review. If you did not get your store reviewed today, I do this on a regular basis, so definitely subscribe and keep an eye out for that. It is first come first. So first come first serve, whoever hits that top one. If you're a YouTube member, you get access to the Google document first, so you can fill it out and get at the top of the list. That's one of the many perks of being a member. If you do still really want a review, I do have paid reviews on my website, and then a 50% off coupon is kind of scrolling across as well. Let's see. Clarification. Yes, I'm sorry. Let me clear this up. I'm sorry with that typo. I'm at work. No worries. Okay, so you showed your store with a 25% coupon. So my question is how I get that for my store as well. Do I have to get a business eBay? I see what you mean. Yes. So most of the features and coupons is part of a store. You do have to have a store. I did a video, so definitely watch it, but you should get a store. Like, even if you only have 100 items, but you want to be able to sell your items, having a store is going to give you all of these store features that is going to help escalate your sales. Even if you're not like a full-time seller, even if you don't want to make a gazillion billion dollars, being able to have these features to increase your sell-through rate is absolutely worth it. And you get free shipping supplies every quarter as well, which it's October, friends. So don't forget your free shipping supplies. Clarified question. What % of buyers post feedback posts? Gotcha. I don't know. That's a good question. If anyone has any answers, I don't know that it really matters what your percentage is. If people, as long as they're leaving good feedback, I don't know that it really matters. I think it matters on how many sales that you have. You want to get to 100 to become top rated. I think once it's to that point, let me know if anyone, I haven't heard one way or the other. So that would be my guess. I don't have any data to back that. Oh, we can ask eBay. If you guys listen to the eBay for Business podcast, you can submit questions to them and they usually answer. So that's a great place if you don't have like an eBay contact. Duncan, I didn't know if you're going to make it. So Duncan definitely helped me elevate my eBay reselling with him and the help of Chris from A Daily Refinement. So, but he's in Australia. He doesn't always make these early lives. So glad to have you here. Josh is saying, please let me know what or how I can fix my store. So Josh, I don't know if I'm going to get to you today or if you filled it out, but I do these periodically. So make sure to subscribe. And then also if you want one for paid, there is a 50% coupon down below. I do only do 4 a month because I do work part-time. So definitely, here we go. Duncan's going to come in with questions. Do we need promoted listings on eBay? And have you noticed the suggested ad rate keeps going up? Duncan, I'm guessing that you're joining this. Like you're probably just waking up, having your cup of tea in your garden. We've been talking about promoted listings. It's going to depend on you for sure. Run it. See if it works. Look at the data. I have promoted listing. It's old, so I am coming out with a new promoted listing video because to your point, the suggested ad rate keeps going up. And here's what's happening, I think. So I did promote it. I'm totally spoiling my promoted listing video later, so still watch it. But what happens is I did a promoted listings. I was trying it out. Should I do it? Should I not? Ran a couple scenarios. And in my current promoted listings video that I have, I show you how to run a promoted listing and I show you how to look at the data and see if it's worth it. A year and a half ago, I think maybe this video came out and I did it. I decided, hey, I'll promote, but I'm only promoting at 2%. That extra suggested ad rate wasn't worth it for me. However, fast forward to a year and a half later, more people are promoting. eBay's pushing promoted listings more, which means more people are promoting, which means if you want your items to stay at the top, you have to be promoting the same, if not higher, than what those people are. And as it creeps up higher and higher and higher, yes, your suggested ad rate keeps going up. I think that's definitely what's happening. Let me know, Duncan. Did I get the right answer? I think that's definitely what's happening. I think even though still with doing a suggested ad rate for me, I'm still under Poshmark fees. So I'm not overly concerned. But if it gets to the point where they're pushing it higher and higher, and now you're having to promote it like 50% to even make sales on eBay, I think they're going to get a lot of really unhappy sellers. So that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. 7 a.m. here, just what I thought. So Sarah, the store review you did on Treasure Hunters, do they have an eBay business store or just a regular store? My last question for those features you talked about, is that for eBay business? They do have a store. I don't know that you can tell what level store. So once you get into the basic store, then that's where it really depends on how many listings you have and what your shipping fee discount is, or what your shipping fee coupon is. And then like once you get to the very top tier, you have like your own representative. So if you are really big into customer service and you want someone you can call all the time, you can go to that top store. But once you get to the basic store, the like second tier up, then those store features really start opening up. I go over all of this in the eBay store video that I did, as well as link the information in that video down below. All right, let's do one more. I do want to make sure I answered everyone's questions that did, even if I don't get to their store review. Anyone who asked a question before this video started, I would like to answer. Maybe I'll do a video later if there's more questions that people have. Should I open a store? We were just talking about that, so I'm not going to answer that one. How do you set up business policies and erase old ones? Duncan might be able to answer this one. I'm glad he's in the chat. I honestly don't use store policies, and it kind of goes against everything that I say on this channel, so don't shame me. I haven't gotten to the store policies yet because I have everything in place the way that it is. And the one time that I went in to do a store policy, it like changed everything I was doing, and it was a lot. However, store policies are going to help you be faster, especially if you have other people doing your listings. I do think that Anna uses store policies. So I do a live every single Friday with Anna. And I think she uses store policies. So you may want to check out that live and maybe ask in there. If I remember, I'll try and ask in there. Okay, let's do one more. Oh, yep. So this is, if you are a paid member, friends, you TN Treasure Hunters is a paid member. So that's why they had their store review. They were at one of the tops. Thanks for the review. We have not been doing this long. One of the mistakes we made as a new seller is that we misplaced a few items, and that keeps us from being top rated until we sell more. Yes, that's valid. And what he said is until we sell more, which honestly, it wasn't a question, but I'm going to frame it as a question. It's a percent, right? You can only have so many percent. And so if you can, let's say you had 2 that you missed, right? Like you sold the wrong item or whatever and gave you bad ding. You had 2 and you only sold 2. Well, that's 100%, right? If you can get it to where you increase your volume and sales, like skyrocket it for a week or 2 or even a month, even if it means that you do a 50% off sale for a month and your ASP just completely hits the tank, right? But if you can increase your sales and get your sales from just those 2 up to 100, you're now only at 2% and your top rated status comes back, and now you're getting more volume. And so it's a short term. Sorry, friends, it's been an hour of me talking straight. It is a short-term like penalty for long-term gain. I did that not because of a penalty, but I did that, and Duncan might remember this. I did that just to get the volume. I was like, I am done. I just want the volume. My ASP on eBay was like half of what it was on Poshmark because I just wanted to get that volume going and get it on my side. And then I slowly started working on my ASP again. I knew Duncan would know. Seller Hub listings, business policies, create. Okay, so let's do one more. I answered all the questions. That is the previous one. We're going to do one more golden formula for resellers. Again, friends, it is a numbers game here. So you can see that this is all going to depend for every single person. They want to make $8,000, Closet in Maine. This is also a paid member. I do know Closet in Maine. We've been working hard. So not only do you get access to having this form earlier, we're going to do live reviews, question and answers, chats on a weekly basis, accountabilities. Right now we're working on increasing sell-through rate or average sale price. So if you want to need a little bit more mentorship in doing this as well, you may consider doing the paid memberships. Excuse me. So their sell-through rate is 36%, which is like fantastic. I want to sell what they're selling with an average sale price of $38. They want to get to $8,000. Excuse me. They want to get to $8,000 gross revenue. So you can see here, let's go back to the other one. They want to get to $4,000, half the amount of money, but they need 585 listings to get double their gross, and they need 1,300, right? So it's not about how many listings you have in your store. That is one of the factors. But you can see here, they have a killer sell-through rate and a killer average sale price. They don't need a gazillion billion active listings. So this mindset of list, if you don't have the other numbers on point, you're going to have, if you don't have the other, sorry, I'm getting a spammer. Duncan, I think you might still, if there's a moderator in here, I think Duncan might still be one. You could put them in timeout. Get them off. We have a spammer in the chat. So when people are like, oh, how many listings I need or what should I sell? It's a numbers game and it's going to depend on you. But here's the thing. So they want to make $8,000. They need 585 listings. They're currently at 148. And I'm going to show you, if you do get a store review, one of the paid ones, there is a 50% off. But then I go even further and tell you, hey, for this person to get here in the next 6 months, all they need to do is keep everything the same, keep their average sale price the same, and sell their rate. So still source the same inventory that's going to sell this way. You need to be listing 8 items a day. And in 6 months, you will hit that 8,000 goal that you have, right? It's a numbers game, friend. So let's figure it out. Let's go ahead and look at their store. I'm going to be honest, like these numbers are pretty legit. So Closet Maine, from a store perspective, 100% feedback, Closet Maine, it's kind of sterile, to be honest. Some people might like it. To me, it seems like very sterile and like not warm and opening. You can see they do have the categories here, which is nice because they do have like different types of categories. I have to get my children. That's my alarm. Don't forget the children, Sarah. So they do have different categories, which is nice. Again, like I said previously, make sure to use eBay categories in your listing though, because you want to come up in the search. furniture. God, I don't want to ship furniture. 100% feedback, definitely good. Item sold, 35 followers. So like I said previously, if you can work on increasing this, if you can increase your repeat customers by 5%, you're going to get a 75. You can get up to, right? This is research data. You can get up to a 75% increase in your profit margin. So if you can increase these followers, and I know that they have a store based off of, they have featured categories, they have newly listed items, so they're using some of the store features. So I know that they have a store, so they can be sending out newsletters to these 35 people, get people to come back. So then when you're sending a newsletter, it's now to 500 people, right? So even if 1% of those people come back, you're still getting 5 sales from sending a newsletter. Like that's it. You're not having to buy more inventory. You're not having to photograph anymore. You're not having to all of these things, list. You can get 5 more sales if you just increase your followers from people that have already bought from you, things that they already like. I do like the pictures that they chose. Let's take a look at about. So they are using some of the store features. I like this. It lets me know who they are. My name is Hannah. I resell clothing, vintage, and treasures here on eBay. After 10 years working as a knitwear designer, it makes me connected to them. Like I want to buy from this person because they used to knitwear designer. Like how cool is that? I bet they have like great taste in all things like vintage and pottery or something, right? I adopted, right? So anything that you can do that is going to set you apart. A couple things I will add. There are some store features that they're missing that they can add. They can do a banner. They are not running any coupons or promotions. So that's going to help that increase that sell-through rate. If they did just some of these, and I'd be interested. She's a Closet of Maine is in the YouTube. So we will be chatting about this for sure. But increasing that sell-through rate without even having more inventory or more listings or all of the work that goes into the sourcing and the listing and if you can increase your sell-through rate by throwing on a coupon that takes you 30 seconds on eBay to do, and now look at this, now you're at like a 45% sell-through rate, that's even less active listings that you need to get to your goal, right? And I know from Closet of Maine that some of the struggle is being consistent and listing and a lot happening in life right now. So that's a way that you can get so much closer to your goal without having this constant hamster wheel of listing. Something I will mention, as I mentioned in some of my previous ones, is the background. This floor is not a white background is going to be the best recommended, as well as making your photos, when you're taking photos, making them square so that they are showing the whole piece. I do like the way that they're taking the photos. It shows the whole item. These goddess leggings tend to sell well, not so much as they used to, but this is nice. It's saying, hey, this is my new items. You could send this out to your 35 followers. Say, hey, these are all my hot new items. Come check out. And here's a 25% off coupon. Get those people who have already purchased from you and already like your style to come back. I would definitely go in and white out, take the background off of at least the cover photo. eBay and Google both recommend this as best practice. And then you can go through all your items. And friends, this is why setting up your categories and doing that up at the top, if people have come to your page, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to click and find what they want. And so if it was just all items, I'd be like, this is too much. Like I have Chacos next to a pottery canister and I just came for a dress, right? And so doing those categories and doing those store features. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of their items. Gymshark. Also not top rated seller. So whatever they need to do to work on that. Top rated seller plus means that they have free returns. So they do offer returns. However, the buyer pays for free shipping. This one, I know for most look at your competition. I'm not going to speak to this one specifically, but look at your competition. Is your competition offering free returns where the seller is paying for them? Then you need to be doing that too and figure out how to make it into your business model. Or you need to be the best at everything else. And if you're not top rated and you're also not offering this, you don't have a sale or anything going on. I like that you have this pre-owned here, best offer. $6. I mean, slightly high. That could probably ship first class, but priority mail, that would probably be okay. It's kind of the struggle with being in Maine, right? Because you're on the whole opposite side. Being in Colorado, I'm right in the middle, which is nice. Again, promoted listings, friends. It's almost as if I like work for eBay or something, and I don't at all. But I do know that this is why they want you to do promoted listings. Someone's on, imagine you're a buyer. You are looking at this item, you're like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. I might like it. Let me go ahead and keep looking. And then you come down here and you're like, well, this one's new. This one's new with tag, 100% seller feedback. It's $34. This is $29. Like, it's actually not the exact same item, but that's what buyers are thinking. Or they're like, oh, I actually like this one better and it's on sale. And they, right? If you promote your items, this is where they're coming up amongst many other places on eBay. It looks like item specifics could probably be more. That seems kind of small for a women's item. Like, I don't see like what type of material it is. I do want to look at the photos. Measurements are always good. That's going to help you. So you have, I like that the tags are in here. You have the type of material. I definitely put that in your listing. As many of the item specifics as you can fill out, the better. You do have 100% positive feedback. I do think that we went into that. Yeah, so they sell lots of different things, which is kind of awesome. I think that's all that we're going to have time for today, friends. If you guys... Thanks for joining. My voice is killing me. If you have questions, let me take a chance and peek at the questions. If you do have questions, do leave them in the comments. If you're watching this in the recording and you have questions, definitely go ahead and feel free to leave them down below, or you can send me a DM on Instagram if you want it to be like more of a personal comment, not a question that you want to ask publicly. Let me see if we have any more questions. Oh, this is a good question. Do you figure out sell-through rate by total listed number of items divided by monthly sales or by what you list monthly? Great question. I covered this earlier. It is by how many items that you have for sale plus the items that sold, right? Because the items that you had for sale were for sale, but the items that you sold were also for sale, right? And so if you don't include the items that you had for sale as well, your sell-through is going to be super inflated. So it's how many items that you had, how many items you sold for the month, what for the time period, we'll say a month, and you want to keep all those variables the same, but you want how many items you sold divided by how many items you had for sale plus how many items that you sold, all for the same time period. So if you want to look at a week, that's fine, but just make sure that you're getting those numbers for a week, for all the numbers. Hope that helps clarify. Oh, Andrew, it's time for you to pick up your kids as well. I'm glad I'm not the only one who forgets. I haven't forgotten them yet. I have not. Promoted listings is needed if you sell in a competitive category, and 2% won't be enough. It used to be enough, Duncan. It used to, sir. Because if Duncan has any suggestions as well, I'm glad Duncan's here. He's a pro. I lost my top rated seller status because I didn't list for a bit. How do I get it back? Look at the top rated seller metrics and increase the crap out of them, right? Like if you need 300 items listed in a month, I would work on that number, like get that knocked out as quickly as you can. If you need so many, like if you have, as I was talking earlier, if someone lost their status because they had too many items on as described or like too many canceled, work on increasing your sales. It's a percentage game here, right? Is it best to choose the promoted percent eBay suggests or go higher? It depends, friends. I am having a video coming out. I think it comes out, what did I say? I think it comes out tomorrow. Again, Vintage Less Traveled, I think it's in the YouTube Gold membership. So I think you already have access to it. Again, one of the perks of being a Gold member is, and I think Silver too, is early access. So I think you already have access to the promoted listings ones. And I walk through how to figure out what's the best strategy for you. It's gonna depend. In the video, honestly, because I wanted to see the results, I like went gangbust. I went crazy. I think I did like 25% cap just to see what would happen if it's actually doing anything. And spoiler alert, it actually is like ridiculous. The numbers are wild. Definitely going to get into my strategy. It's going to depend, you do vintage, what other sellers are doing. I would probably, it depends on how aggressive you want to be. If you are seeing a decline in sales and you just really want some sales and to start really high and then slowly decrease it and see what happens, instead of like increasing by 1% and then you get 2 more sales and then increase, and then in 6 months, it's where you want it to be. I think it's going to depend on the categories and how many other people are doing it. And eBay doesn't really tell us that information. I get why, but unfortunately they don't. Yeah, I would just mess with it. Right. So daily refinement is promoting 80%. So I thought going to 25 was ridiculous. The thing you have to know too, and I mentioned this in my video, I think it's coming out tomorrow, is it's going to come out of your net. So your gross sales will probably increase, your traffic's going to increase, but that's coming out of your net. And is it worth it for you? Right. So what I was doing 2 years ago was just running bigger sales and giving that discount to the seller because it was working. Having a bigger sale and having cheaper items were getting me more sales. And now I'm rethinking my strategy. So definitely keep an eye out on that. My voice is about done. So thank you guys so much. I really enjoy doing these. So if you guys like it, let me know. Right now I'm planning once a month, but I'm thinking I might just go to once a week and only do this as my only live, and then my live on Fridays with Anna, and that can be kind of like a Q&A because we sell different kinds of things. I bet he tried it, Duncan. I bet he did. I kind of want to try and see what happens. If I'm in the gold membership, I posted a video or a picture yesterday. My traffic increases are like ridiculous. Now, are they converting? Not yet. That's something to be mindful of. But it definitely is getting you more traffic. If you do promoted listings on something that nobody wants, you're still not going to make a sale. So you got to work on other things too than just promoting. All right, friends, I have to go pick up my kids. My alarm did go off. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you do have questions, drop them down below, and I will see you on Friday live with Anna. It's general Q&A. So if you have other questions that didn't get answered or you have other questions, definitely come hop on over and join us.